Sounds like mission control.
Hey, Blizzard fans, Ryan Hobson, Director of Sales, back for a quarantine game day and another cool, unique one because it's a partner profile as well. And I'm here with Blizzard owner Kathy Trinkler and Matt Getch from Green Bay Rugby. Matt, how are you?
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for taking time to join us.
No problem.
Matt, we will, like I said, this is kind of a unique one. So tonight would have been Youth Sports Night, which is a new night we are trying out this year. And it kind of, when we thought through it, it was kind of almost Dude Perfect inspired. So we were going to try and do like a halftime battle with a bunch of local youth sports teams. And this is the video's first real chance that we get to explain that because we didn't get to really unveil that game this year. So we thought it'd be really cool to have you involved because you've been on the journey with us, I think, my entire time here, doing half times and then becoming a Blizzard partner as well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Green Bay Rugby, and that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Matt Getch. Like you said, I help run our youth program within Green Bay Rugby, but taking a step back, Green Bay Rugby is the premier rugby program in Northeast Wisconsin. We run programs for kids from flag, in our flag program from grades K through 8. We have middle school tackle for both boys and girls for 6th through 8th grades. And the flag I did mention is co-ed as well. So that's co-ed. The middle school is not co-ed, but we have separate programs for the boys and the girls. And then there are high school programs for both boys and girls tackle in the area as well. But our men's program has been around since 1972. So we're coming up on 50 years of rugby in the Green Bay area.
That's fabulous. So Matt, you've been a halftime, I'll say, treat, because a lot of us like watching those guys run on the field. So you've gone from doing that to, being a partner with the Blizzard, and now you've got a lobby table set up. I mean, there's each year it seems there's just a little bit more. Tell us why or how the Blizzard fits in with Green Bay Rugby and why you appreciate the partnership.
Absolutely. It fits. I mean, it started out, we wanted to get publicity for ourselves, and the halftime show we thought would be a great way to go. Obviously, I had gotten to know you and Larry a little bit through other endeavors and said, okay, let's give this a shot. And yeah, to your point, our first year, the fans had pretty good response to it, and our kids loved it. It was a great way to show off our program. And like you said, as it's continued to grow, what we saw was the demographics within the Blizzard were becoming more and more family every single year. When we started, you guys had just taken over. There were still some of the old demographics, but the fact is, you guys focus on family first and always, and that fits in with our program. We think of rugby as a family, and so that took over as we continue to do the halftime shows into again trying to grow our various levels of programs. The number of kids and families that you have there, we need them all to know about us, and it just made sense for us to become a partner with the banners on the sidelines, and like you said, for some of the nights, the tables in the lobby, it just has helped us significantly get our name out there.
Well, so fun fact for all of you and I believe he mentioned this in our video with him not that long ago. So the Blizzard is connected to Green Bay Rugby through a certain Hall of Famer that we have. I don't know if you saw us with the little baby goat Elmer or not, but we have the goat on, Mr. BJ Hill. Why don't you give us a little background on BJ as a rugby player? Because a lot of people don't realize he was playing rugby when Larry and I asked him to come back and play.
Right. So I think there was still a desire for him to be active and his natural competitive nature needed an outlet when he retired the first time from indoor football. And he found rugby. And quite honestly, and I'll tell him this, I'm going public with it, but his rugby ability was not up to his athletic ability in the first couple of years, probably 6 months to 12 months. But that has absolutely come full circle. He has been our most valuable player a couple times. He has been, and he continued to play even during his comeback to the Blizzard. Obviously, he didn't play in the spring rugby, but he always played in the fall. But he has not given that up, and he continues to be a leader on the team and has found an outlet for that competitive nature of his.
Yeah, and I think he would admit that rugby was a challenge at first, but he's always up for a challenge. So he needs to leave, at the top. So he definitely got to that place with us and as well for rugby. So right.
I was just going to say the men's team has made the playoffs many of the last few years, and he has been a big part of that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I'm sure him getting used to the change in the game. I mean, it is a little bit different. So he had to get used to that first, and probably took a couple of licks here and there. But
and a lot of it was just timing, because in football it's go go go, and in rugby people don't realize it, but it's a little bit more thoughtful than people think. They think it's a bunch of guys just bashing into each other, but there's a lot of strategy that goes into it, and it takes us longer to convert football players to rugby than it does, let's say, a wrestler or some other sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
So Ryan, you want to talk about the night?
Yeah, I was just like, it's funny. We're always candid on these things. I was just looking at the email I sent you. In typical Ryan fashion, it cuts off halfway through a question. So we're winging it now.
I did not point that out this time. Just want to say.
I think it's my turn to ask a question, but I don't know what the question is. Well done, Ryan.
Are you sleeping when you put those things together?
No.
I mean, half the time we don't even use them because it just takes its own, turn. But yeah.
Right. No, I do remember where I was going with it. So just a couple things. Matt, it's been a pleasure, right? That's I can't tell you the number of times that sometimes fans are like, why'd you do that at halftime? Or you should bring this in our halftime. We get asked a lot, actually, from like the guy that rides a unicycle tossing frisbees into the crowd, or the zoo animal things, that like the big inflatable dinosaurs. Like, we always get hit up on email for people that want us to pay to do a halftime show. And a couple of things, like rugby comes out in force to support you guys. So for attendance, it's awesome. And we truly like to pay it forward and support local at 2 before we would book a halftime. Now, we did luau night a couple seasons ago. That made sense for us to go get people that twirled fire on the field. But so thank you.
Cool.
It's been cool. And where I was going with that is fans, every time I talk to a fan or even some of our season ticket holder get-togethers, like the feedback around your halftime also being entertaining, like Kathy said, is I never have a boy, you shouldn't bring them back. It's always really well received. So kudos to you and the organization.
I, of course, look for the girl on the field.
Yeah.
And just make sure she gets the ball, and she usually does, and she is usually gone. So just saying.
And just, those people that don't know, no, rugby is not just a boys' sport. We, our girls program, middle school program, had more girls in it than any other program in the state. We have grown. We've got our own first-year high school team. There's been one in Pulaski for a couple of years, but now Green Bay's got a high school girls team. It just continues to grow. I'd say about 35% of our flag players are girls as well. So it's definitely a sport for everybody to check out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think it helps with us too, because Ryan and I have said several times, we target moms. We target moms from a family perspective, but more and more, I'm always amazed. I mean, I love football, but there are women out there that really die for football. So when Packer season is over, they're looking for something else. And when Blizzard season is over, they're looking for the next, flag or college or, whatever's next. So I think it's great that girls can be involved, and there's a lot of great players, great athletes. It's an athletic sport. It's not one that you can just wait to catch the ball kind of thing or pass the ball. I mean, you need to be ready all the time. So I think it's I don't know enough about the sport itself, but it looks really cool. I can tell you that.
Yeah. And one of the things I did remember my next question. One of the other things that you guys said that I think I was talking to Brooke, who also has done work with Green Bay Rugby too, just asking about BJ riding off of the sunset and stuff. And one of the things that she said to me is the reason he can continue to play that game at such a high level is he's so fast that, like, he gets tagged, he gets hit into the board here, and it'll take his body longer to recover in the IFL. No one catches him on the rugby field. He said he rarely gets hit, is what Brooke said. So.
And
Yeah.
the difference with football and rugby, the one option, one, he's fast. There's no question about that. But two, with rugby, you can always make a pass. In football, the guy that gets the ball typically keeps it until he gets tackled. In rugby, you can just pass the ball. If you're about to get hit by somebody that's twice your size, pass the ball to a teammate, and they can't hit you anymore.
That's awesome. So I'll unpack what would have been the night for Blizzard fans. And Matt, this might be news to you too, because it would have been so late in the season we didn't finish dialing it in. It was really inspired by kind of like programs like yours and more of the NYFL, Howard Somical Flag Football, and all these youth sports organizations reaching out to us now, and just wanting to see. And again, we always stretch the limits of our time clock at halftime, how much we could cram into a halftime and have different athletes from different teams rotating around at stations, and rugby players trying to make a basketball shot, kick a soccer shot, and just incorporate like an all sports battle, much like Youth Perfect does, and incorporate as many youth sports teams as we could in that type of night. And it was truly like, we know what we're up against this time of year. Like, had tonight happened, we would have been up against Booyah Baseball and Timber Rattlers Baseball. So we were doing something that said, hey, we get it. There's outdoor stuff going on. Come do outdoor stuff indoors with your team and wear your jersey. And it just would have been a real cool visual. And I think the nice thing personally for me when we look at a new night like this is Selena and Kathy and I really get a chance to unpack and repackage that one in a good way too. Like, we were ready for it and we had some good ideas, but with all this time now, like what can we really do to make that one fun and unique? So that was kind of the idea, and that might be news to you. So
that was news to me, but I mean, it sounds like a great concept.
Well, it would be fun for the kids. It'd be fun
Absolutely.
for the kids to watch, and that's really what it's about. Because in our stadium or our arena, unlike other arenas, when halftime comes, they don't leave their seats. They're making sure they're back in their seats for halftime. So, hopefully, unless the Blizzard are like right on the edge, 1 minute to go, and we could potentially pull a rabbit out of a hat. Who knows? But depending on where the Blizzard is at, though, and who's got possession of the ball, they're making sure they go and get their sodas, popcorn, whatever, or they wait till after halftime. So, thank you for everything that you've brought to the field. It's been awesome to watch it develop over the years.
Yeah,
Matt,
our youth program we started in 2013. So when the first year we were there, that was only our second year of existence with you guys, and we might have had 30 kids total in the program. Now we've got well over 100 in the flag program, and 40, 50 in our middle school program. So again, we've grown from very little to much bigger, and I do attribute a lot of that to our partnership with the Blizzard.
So because you have so many kids involved and because all sports are kind of up in the air right now, how is the pandemic affecting you guys and your plans for a season? I mean, can you have a season?
Our spring season has been canceled. So our middle school boys and girls is in the spring, that typically runs April, May, and ends this coming weekend. What a state championship would have been this next weekend. So that's been canceled. We are waiting to hear what will happen with our our flag program this summer. We are still hoping we'll be able to pull something out. One, it's non-contact, so maybe we can keep our distance a little bit better than the tackle side of the sport. But a lot of it is still dependent upon the fields that we play on, and can we rent them? Can we use them? We're waiting for guidance from, all kinds of levels, not only the parks, but the health departments and our national rugby organization is weighing in on what steps have to be taken before we can come back. As much as I'm dying to get the kids out there, it's not worth it if we can't keep them safe. So we're going to keep that in mind. We think that our best option is probably going to be able to get our girls fall league going. We're hoping, but the summer boys high school is in question, and so is our flag.
Yeah, I think everyone is kind of sitting back and just waiting for some things to shake out, whether it be numbers. We've managed to flatten the curve. There are those out there that want it to become zero. I don't know how realistic that is. We're human organisms, and if you don't build up your immunity and you then expose yourself, suddenly you're going to catch all sorts of things. So now we got this, how do we come back to reality going on? And it's scary. It's scary as a mom. I don't want to subject my kids to things, but I also know that my kids probably have the best chance of anyone at staying healthy and, getting over it really fast. So, and I know everybody's on different sides of that argument. So I'm not trying to start anything. Calm down, people. Calm down.
I joked with somebody that, 7 years ago when we started, it would have been much easier to continue right now because we didn't have to worry about having 50 kids in one place at one time because we only had, 10 or 15 that first year. But now that we have well over 100 at a practice, it brings a whole nother level of, okay, how would we do this if we can?
Right. Absolutely.
Matt,
so
I have
Matt,
one. Go ahead. Sorry, Kathy.
No,
I had
go ahead.
one off-topic one before you hit the big one too. So, and this is not a toot the blizzard horn type question. Just you've worked with us so long, and I just, if you have any words for any local sports team that want to get involved in us, just in regards to how easy it is to ticket with us and what that process looks like, would you have any words to another sports team watching this that, boy, we should do a blizzard game or we should get involved in youth sports night? And that's not a, hey, Ryan, you make ticketing so easy. That's not what I'm looking for. Just, I hope it's not a stressful process, and it is. Please be transparent because I'd like people to know what we do for them.
No, dealing with you guys has been easier than you can believe. Now, is it a little stressful for me? Yeah. I mean, but who is ever running it, because you got to make sure you get the tickets from you, which you make easy, out to all the parents and fans. And for us, you've been great to work with. You've given us a table that night always. So that way, because a lot of times we're not even in season yet when we have the flag and we do that. And so, but it's easy. You actually gave us a flyer. We send that flyer out to our parents electronically, and we collect the number of tickets, and many times we set a date, and you work with us when we hit that date, but then we come back 2 days later, hey, I need another 10 tickets, or 4 days later, not only that, another 10, I need another 20.
Yeah.
Not that you're ever going to argue about tickets, but you've always worked with us. And
I'm usually like, hey, enjoy sitting in row W.
and for those add-ons, but along those lines, you've always been great at giving us good seats. It's yes, you're giving us a discount and bulk group discount, but you haven't given us the worst tickets in the world. And I will say, as we've done more and more seasons and done more and more seats each season, I think the seats might have gotten even a little better over time. But I think we've earned that a little bit. And so I would highly recommend for the publicity side, for the visibility, for programs to come work with the Blizzard. And for us, you've made it very simple. And, I talked about the growth. Is it all because of the Blizzard? No, but the publicity that we've gotten and the visibility of trying to get what really is a new sport into the marketplace, that publicity has gone a long way. And that's, again, why we became a partner as well.
Appreciate that.
So Matt, whenever we do these video series, because I'm sure you've watched every single one that we've done so far.
I can't say I watched every single.
Oh, what?
Liar.
We ask everyone for words of wisdom, that they're either living by or would hope others would live by during this, we'll call it critical time in our history from a pandemic standpoint. And words of wisdom from you, and since it's youth night, do you have any words of wisdom for the youth? I mean, they're really being affected by this in a lot of different ways. There's school at home with mom and dad. There's some kids where home isn't a great environment and they're stuck at home. They can't go outside. They can't go to parks. They can't do this. They can't do that. You got any words of wisdom for that demographic?
I think I'll bring it back to how we consider our rugby players and families to be family, and know that you're not alone. That everybody's got somebody that they can go to, whether they think they might have to think harder about it. But for our families, I want them to know that they've got coaches and administrators and teammates that care about them and are there for them. And don't be afraid to reach out, because it's easy to think that you're all by yourself when you're locked in your house for months on end, and you only get to see the same people, day in and day out. And as much as I love my family and kids, once in a while you need to have somebody else to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's great advice, is, that we're all in this together is being said a lot, but the flip side of that is, and it means the same thing, is you're not alone in what you're going through. And some of the depression that kids are going through, the unknown is very scary. And although we've only been dealing with this for a couple of months, it hasn't been years. And I've referred to this in other videos from what we're doing. It feels like wartime, right? That we have to come out of it slowly, and then there'll be a new normal, or whatever we want to call it. And I worry about the young people. I really do. They haven't had as much exposure to things, so their now becomes forever, no matter what age they are. And we just need to reassure them, I think, that there will be better days ahead.
Absolutely.
Matt, we can't thank you enough. Where can I send people to find out more about Green Bay Rugby and all things rugby of your nature?
Yeah, there's a couple. The easiest is probably GB Youth Rugby. You can find all the links to the local men's club and in our all of our youth programs. So gbyouthrugby.org.
Perfect. Blizzard fans, I'll drop the links in the video section as we always do. And be sure to watch the 2021 schedule, because Matt and crew will be back with 200 people on one side of the arena. As always.
That sounded like a challenge.
We clipped that number ever, Matt? We've been really close, right?
This year we got close. I think we were in the 170. So yeah, hey, give me another year, and as long as we can get back on the field, we should be able to do that.
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
and I mean, rewind what you said. I mean, I remember when it was 60, 70 to start. So again, thank you for the partnership, and it's not about ticket sales. We've grown together, and I'm glad we've been able to help, and thank you for your support as well.
Again, it's mutual.
Perfect. Well, Blizzard fans, I think we have two or three games left on the schedule. So we'll see you for a couple more quarantine game days and much more partner profiles. Check out all the Green Bay Rugby information. Kathy, stay classy.
Oh, that's nice. Hey, Ryan, eat, drink, and be thankful.
Thank you. I think Kirsten made that at a board and brush thing. So there's
Very
the
nice.
crafty
I like it.
friend of yours.
Bringing new artwork in. Yeah, awesome.
Matt, thank you. Stay safe, be healthy. Go Blizz, go Green Bay Youth Rugby.
Peace out.